creates a distance from others. Your passion will literally create a distance from others. It's a clue. Your passion is a clue that you're changing seasons. When you lose excitement and enthusiasm for something, pay attention to that. Pay attention to that clue, because what you have a passion for, God has birthed on the inside of you. See, no one, please hear me and hear me well. No one comes to earth empty. No one comes to earth empty. I mentor and I coach and have been doing that for years and years and years. I lead a university. I lead a network of leadership. I do a lot of things. But the number one thing I do as a speaker, an author, and a trainer, the number one thing I do is to help men and women discover their purpose and develop their passion. I help them to discover their purpose, and I help them develop their passion. Good to see you, Alex. Good to see you, Sam. Thanks for dropping by. Everyone, hit the share button. Hit the share button and let someone else know, because the information I'm sharing with you with this moment in this teaching, that when you're watching this literally can be a life-changing message. You say, well, Dr. Kreitz, you're being a little overly dramatic. No, I'm not. I'm not. I want to tell you, watch me and hear me very, very well. If you don't discover your purpose, if you do not discover your purpose, you're going to spend the rest of your life serving someone else's. Now, if that's okay with you, if your purpose is to be a blessing to someone else and you know that, that's fine. But to not know your purpose and be limited just to be doing what someone else is inspiring you to do, that you're only working for a paycheck, that you're only working for the approval, the eye of another. You see, my purpose is divine. My purpose is divine. I walk in divine purpose. And because I walk in divine purpose, I have a divine passion inside of me. It's what got me up early this morning. It's what's keeping me up here late on the East Coast here in St. Augustine, Florida. It's what will cause me to lead a university. It's what will cause me to write and publish books. It's what will cause me to lead a network of people. It's what will cause me this Sunday to be speaking and teaching at New Covenant Cathedral here in St. Augustine, Florida. By the way, if you're local, if you're watching this and you live locally here in the St. Augustine, St. Johns County, Jacksonville area, we have an incredible meeting. Now, it starts at 9 a.m. because successful people start early. 9 a.m. Successful people start early. I know successful people that do more in the first 2.5 hours of their day than some people do in 8 hours of their day. You gotta seize the day. You can't seize it until you see it. You can't seize it until you see it. What's that mean? Well, you've got to be so purposed in your thinking and purposed in your life. And that's why I told you earlier, I wrote the book. It's at my website, Paul Kreitz, CRITES.com, paulkreitz.com, Discovering the Power of Purpose. And today we received an incredible order. An incredible order. I was saying early, Jerry and Sam, that I received an order from North Carolina State Athletic Department, University of North Carolina State Athletic Department, wanting to purchase more books. More of these books. They're giving them to their athletes. I'm telling you, there is a power, discovering the power of purpose. Hello, Jonathan Ford from the Nassau, Bahamas. Man, I do love Jonathan Ford. He is a right hand to me. I have an extension campus, leadership training program, university in Nassau, Bahamas, and we go there every month. You say, can I come? Well, yeah, if you pay your way. We would love to have you. But we go for a few days every month, and we teach and we train and we speak. And as of right now, we have over 300 graduates, in the Bahamas that have come through our program. Some are pastoring churches, some are working for the government, some are working in high posts of the government, some are teachers in the government schools there. We're influencing a culture. Why? Because that's what God has called us to do. Hey, Peter, God has called us to be salt and light. God has called us to impact the culture. But you're clueless about how you're going to impact the culture if you don't understand what God has brought you to earth. No one comes to earth empty. He gives you a divine purpose. Out of that purpose, you begin to work with passion. Now, you are not just a performance person because you're not a human doing, you're a human being. You want to write that down. You're not just a human doing, you're a human being. Your purpose is your compass in the time of storm. Your purpose is what gets you up early, keeps you up late. Your purpose will add productivity to your life. It will create the passion that will determine your focus. And your focus, where focus goes, money flows. Write that down. Where focus goes, money flows. There are two revealing books in your life. Two revealing books. One is the Bible. One is the Bible. The Bible is a revealing book. It tells us what our life is supposed to be. The Bible tells us about relationships. The Bible tells us about order. The Bible tells us about protocol. The Bible tells us how to solve problems, how to find favor. The Bible tells us what our life is to look like. And then the second book in your life is your checkbook. Your checkbook. Because your checkbook tells you really where your life is. Your checkbook reveals what the Bible says, where a man's heart is, that's where his treasure will be. Yeah, the Bible is God's book. God sent his son, but he left his book. He left his book, and he gave you this book and said, this is what I want you to do. This is where I want you to go with this book. I want you to learn how to do some things here with the book. But then we have a checkbook or a bank statement, and it reveals what we put on our card, our bank card, where we wrote our checks, where we spent our money. It is a revealing book. It reveals really where your focus is, because wherever your focus goes, money flows. What you look at the longest becomes the strongest. You're watching me. I'm Paul Crites. I have a website, paulcrites.com, Paulcrites. I'm encouraging you this evening. For some reason, this thing is hot as pancakes, as they say. People are buying this book. I wrote this years and years ago. It's been reprinted 5 times. Jerry, this book has been reprinted 5 times. Jonathan Ford, it's in its 5th printing, and it still has the core message to it. It's not had a lot of changes to it. It's a great book. It's an incredible book. Now, I want to tell you, there's several things that happen. I'm glad that you're connecting with me, but there's several things that happen when you discover your purpose. Because one of the chapters in my book tells you that when you discover your purpose, you're going to discover your enemies. Now, don't sit there and say, I have no enemies. The moment success begins to move in your life, you are going to have enemies. You're going to have people that dislike you because of your success. You're going to find people that are jealous of your success. They don't want what you've learned. They want what you've earned. They don't want to go through the proper steps. But in the mentorship of discovering your purpose, you learn there are only 2 ways. Write this down. Write this down. There's only 2 ways to learn: mistakes and mentors. Mistakes and mentors. I call it the M&Ms of life. You don't know what you're going to get. When you do not know that mentorship is valuable in your life, you will just go from mistake to mistake, bouncing around. But hear me, and hear me well. There are some mistakes that you never recover from. There's some mistakes that give you a record that will follow you the rest of your life. There's mistakes that you make because of bad decisions that will cause financial deletion of finances out of your bank account every month for years. You can no longer live by seeing what will work. Let's just throw it against the wall and see what works. No, that's not a biblical solution. A biblical solution is to find a mentor. And why do you need a mentor? Because you're going to have enemies. Now you might say, well, Dr. Kreitz, what is an enemy? What is an enemy? Anyone who decreases your enthusiasm for your assignment is an enemy. Anyone who decreases your enthusiasm for your assignment is an enemy. Oh, this is crucial. This is extremely, extremely important. I want you to get this, because anyone who would rather discuss your past than your future is an enemy. Anyone that's obsessed with where you've come from, they're obsessed with your past. You see, enemies are only interested in visiting your history, but favor is in your future when you find mentorship. Favor is in your future when you find mentorship. Now, I've discovered that enemies really are a good thing. I know some people that try to pray away their enemies, but that's not a good thing to do. You must overcome. Now get this, please get this. You must overcome, because you will be known for the enemy you overcome or the enemy that overcomes you. You will be known for the enemy that you overcome or the enemy that overcomes you. I'm Dr. Paul Kreitz. I'm coming live. Those of you watching, please hit your share button. Hit your share button. Let's pass this along, because I'm giving quality information. And I noticed that we've stopped sharing and we're just watching. I really need for you to hit the share button and let those that are connected with you to hear this. This is a valuable message. This is a very valuable message. Somebody's life is really dependent upon knowing their purpose, discovering their passion, and knowing that when they begin to become successful, they're going to have